Assalamualaikum and hi to my lecturer. Okay, before we begin, let me introduce our group members. My name is Nur Suraya, and together with my group members, Irfani, Bibi, Afika, and Nofana, we will be presenting our case study on workplace conflict management at HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd. For today's presentation, we will share our finding based on a real workplace conflict case that we collected through a primary interview with a senior executive from HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd. First, let me briefly explain about workplace conflict. Workplace conflict is a common issue that can happen in any organizations. It may occur due to differences in opinions, communications problems, personal preferences, or misunderstandings between employees. Although some conflicts may appear to be small issues, and they can become more serious if they are not managed properly. Unresolved conflicts may affect teamwork, employee morale, productivity, and the overall workplace environment. Therefore, effective conflict management is important to ensure that employees can work together in a positive and respectful environment. For this case study, we used the primary research method by conducting an interview with a senior executive from HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd. Through this interview, we were able to understand a real workplace conflict, the cause behind the conflict, the actions taken by HR management, and the lessons learned from the situation. Okay, the conflict that we will discuss involves an interpersonal conflict between employees from the same department regarding their shared office environment. Although the issue is started from simple daily workplace matters, it shows how differences in preferences and communication can develop into workplace conflict. Okay, the next part of our presentation will explain the background of the company and the interviewee involved. Moving on to the company background, our case study focuses on HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd, an automotive manufacturing company located in Pego, Melaka. The company was established in 2006 and is a subsidiary of EP Manufacturing Berhad or EPMB. Okay, HRM specializes in manufacturing automotive components and particularly car body parts, and is one of the suppliers supporting Honda Malaysia. As part of the automotive industry supply chain, the company plays an important role in ensuring the production of quality automotive parts that meet customers' expectations and industry standards. Currently, HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd has approximately 150 employees, including operational employees and management level personnel, with employees from different departments and backgrounds working together. Maintaining good communication and teamwork is essential for smooth business operations. For our interview, we spoke with Puan Nurhamiza binti Anwar Afandi, who holds the position of Senior Executive at HRM Melaka, Sdn Bhd. Her responsibilities include supporting their daily operations, managing employee-related matters, coordinating communication between employees and management, and handling workplace issues when they occur. Her experience and involvement in managing employee matters allow us to gain a better understanding of how workplace conflicts are identified, managed, and resolved in a real organizational setting. That concludes my part on the introduction and company background. Next, I will pass the presentation to my teammates who will explain the parties involved in the conflict, including their positions and underlying interests. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Farhana. Next, I will explain the nature of the conflict in this case. This case involved an interpersonal conflict between two employees who work in the same department and share the same office space. Interpersonal conflict happens when two or more individuals have different goals, values, needs, preferences, or expectations, which can lead to misunderstanding and disagreements. Based on what Ms. Nurhamiza has experienced, the conflict impacts GV Melaka Sdn Bhd. Employee A preferred a comfortable office temperature that was neither too cold nor too warm because it helped them stay focused and productive while working. However, employee B preferred a much cooler air conditioning setting for their own comfort. As both employees were unable to reach an agreement, employee A submitted a formal complaint to the Human Resource Department regarding the air conditioning issue. Although the conflict initially appeared to be about the office temperature, the interview revealed that the actual cause was deeper than that. It involved poor communication, different personal preferences, and a lack of mutual understanding between the two employees. So, after receiving employees A's complaint, the situation became more complicated when employee B also submitted a complaint to HR. Let's look at what happened in the second part of the case. In this second case, employee B submitted a complaint to the HR department regarding employee A's habit of eating inside their shared office. Employee B explained that the strong food odors made the office environment unpleasant and uncomfortable, especially because they work in an enclosed shared workplace. Although eating in the office may seem like a small issue, it became a source of tension because both employees had different expectations of what a comfortable workplace should be. Employee A viewed eating in the office as acceptable, while employee B believed it affected cleanliness and the comfort of others. As a result, the conflict became more than just a disagreement over air conditioning. The combination of these two issues created ongoing tension between the employees, making it difficult for them to communicate effectively and maintain a positive working relationship.
The parties involved in the workplace conflict were employee A versus employee B, who were colleagues working within the same department and sharing the same office room. Type of conflict: employee versus employee, which is interpersonal conflict between peers. Employee A was unhappy with employee B for refusing to adjust the office air conditioning temperature to a more comfortable level. A staff member who triggered the case by filing formal email complained to the Human Resources Department regarding office comfort and temperature, while employee B was unhappy with employee A for eating meals inside the shared office, which caused strong food smells. A staff member working in the same department who filed a counter complaint regarding office cleanliness and food odors. The HR department, who stepped in to review the complaint, facilitate professional communication, and establish new workplace guidelines to resolve the issue. The neutral third-party authority responsible for investigating the issue, conducting separate interviews, and enforcing corporate policies. The workplace conflict is an interpersonal, peer-to-peer dispute between employee A and employee B, both of whom share a confined office space and have conflicting environmental expectations. Employee A filed a complaint regarding office temperature, while employee B counter-complained about the odor from employee A's eating habits, necessitating intervention from the Human Resource Department to act as a neutral mediator. The underlying interests of the parties involved go beyond their surface-level complaints. While the arguments were about air conditioning and food, their core psychological and professional needs centered around comfort, respect, and fairness. First, employee A's underlying interests from physical comfort and well-being, a core need for a physical workplace temperature that allows them to focus and work efficiently without physical discomfort. Next, collaborating and flexibility, an expectation that colleagues should be cooperative, accommodating, and willing to compromise on shared office setting rather than being rigid. Second, employee B underlying interest from clean and professional environment, a desire for a hygienic, pleasant workplace free from strong, disruptive odors that interfere with their sensory comfort. And then, personal freedom and autonomy, the interest to maintain their own physical comfort levels regarding temperature without feeling overly policed by peers. And then third,
shared underlying interests, both employees, mutual respect and consideration. A fundamental human need to feel respected by their immediate office peers regarding personal boundaries and daily habits. Next, clear boundaries. An underlying desire for established workplace ethics, so they do not have to constantly negotiate or confront each other over daily habits. Finally, human resource underlying interests. Operational continuity and productivity, ensuring that personal disputes do not escalate to disrupt daily work output or damage departmental teamwork. Fairness and consistency, establishing standardized rules like the official 24 degrees Celsius until 26 degrees Celsius temperature range and food policies that apply equally to everyone, eliminating favoritism. Finally, a harmony-driven workplace culture, maintaining a healthy, respectful psychological climate and preventing future peer-to-peer friction through proactive guidelines.
Okay, proposed improvement and suggestion. Although the conflict at PEP's JV Melaka 19 was successfully resolved, there are still several improvements that can strengthen the company's conflict management process. Firstly, HR should encourage early mediation before employees submit formal complaint. By addressing conflict at an early stage, misunderstanding can be resolved more quickly and are less likely to affect working relationship. Secondly, HR should adopt a more structured mediation process. HR should first understand both employees' concern, then facilitate a discussion where each party has an equal opportunity to express their view. After that, both employees should work together to reach a mutually acceptable solution, followed by a review to ensure the agreement remains effective. This approach is consistent with both facilitative mediation model, where the mediator remains neutral and focus on improving communication rather than decide who is right or wrong. Lastly, the company should provide regular training on communication and conflict management. This will help employees develop better communication skills and resolve workplace disagreements professionally, creating a more respectful and a collaborative working environment. The HR manager also has an important ethical responsibility throughout the mediation process. HR must balance the company interests with employees' rights by ensuring that the mediation process is fair, impartial, and confidential. Both employees should be given an equal opportunity to explain their concerns without fear or bias or retaliation. In this case, the HR manager demonstrates this responsibility by listening separately to employee A and employee B before facilitating a joint discussion. Rather than taking sides, HR focus on understanding the root cause of the conflict and help both employees reach a solution that benefits everyone. Overall, by remaining neutral, maintaining confidentiality, and treating both employees fairly, HR was able to resolve the conflict while maintaining a positive and productive workplace.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I would like to share about conflict management strategy used by HR management. The first one in investigation and active listening. HR first review both explain complaint and review employee A and employee B separately to understand each person's perspective before making any decision. This ensures fairness and identify the actual root causes of the conflict, which was not only the air conditioning and food smell issue but also poor communication and lack of mutual consideration. The second is facilitating open communication. After gathering information, HR arranged a discussion between both employees to encourage open communication and mutual understanding. During the meeting, HR emphasized respect, workplace ethics, and cooperation to help both parties reach a mutually acceptable solution. The third is establishing clear workplace policy. HR introduced preventive measures by using a workplace memo prohibiting strong-smelling food in the office and placing signage recommending an office temperature of 20 degrees until 26 degrees. This policy creates clear standards, reduces ambiguity, and prevents similar conflict from requiring. The fourth is preventing conflict management. Beyond resolving the immediate issue, HR emphasizes yearly intervention, regular communication, and employee awareness to prevent future workplace conflict. This democratic approach rather than react conflict management approach.
In conclusion, this case study demonstrates that workplace conflict can arise even from small differences in employees' needs, preferences, and expectations. In this case, the disagreement over the office temperature and food consumption can develop into an interpersonal conflict because both employees had different expectations of a comfortable shared workspace. However, the interview also showed that these issues were not the main cause of the conflict. The underlying factors were poor communication, a lack of mutual understanding, and limited consideration for each other's needs. If the employees had communicated openly and respectfully from the beginning, the conflict could have been resolved before it escalated. This case also highlights the important role of human resources in managing workplace issues and resolving conflict within the organization. As in HR, remaining neutral, listening to both parties, and applying a collaborative conflict management approach able to resolve the conflict fairly while maintaining workplace harmony, able to maintain a positive work environment, promotes effective communication, and strengthens working relationships among employees. Thus, it helps prevent similar conflicts from happening again. That's all from our group. Thank you and bye-bye.